Welcome to the World Wellness Show. I'm Trish Gleason, your host. Today we have with us Dr. Tom Lankering from Colorado, and he's going to be talking to you about biohacking and how it can help you in a more fruitful life in wellness and health. Hi, Dr. Lankering. How are you today?
Great, Trish. Great to be here. Thank you.
Well, let me introduce you. Dr. Lankering, he has quite the experience. He had a television show out in Colorado for 21 years. He's a graduate of Palmer University. Holistic medicine is his specialty. He is a specialist in alternative medicine, energetic, brain-based biochiropractic. He looks at your overall health rather than one specific ailment. He specializes in pain management as well, nutrition, emotional stress management, and I could just go on and on. He's also an author. He and 38, I believe, doctors developed a book called The Happy Brain. You may want to go out and take a look at that. Well, we're happy to have you here today, doctor, with such a vast experience over the past, 40 years?
Yeah, right there at 40 years. So it's exciting.
We're getting older, aren't we?
We're evolving.
Let
That's
me
what we're doing. We're evolving. So, yeah. So, but after all these years, I'm more
Yes.
passionate than ever about the work
Okay, well,
that I'm doing. Yep.
let's get busy. What is biohacking and how would you define it in simple terms to our viewers?
Yeah. So biohacking is kind of a new term that, talks about, I'm going to say natural methods, natural techniques, technologies that are being used that affect the internal environment of our bodies. So they're actually natural health methods. The drug and pharmaceutical industry has been trying to biohack. So you take a drug, you do this, you do that, and the body is forced to respond to that. Here, when we are working with natural methods, we're might be stimulating and I think more modulating, more regulating to bring the body back to balance. And we find that when the body's in balance is when it works, when it's firing on all cylinders, then the body works the best. So biohacking is a term because now we're finding that a lot of these methods, the technology and so forth, are having profound impacts and getting tremendous results. So biohacking, I think, if I can say, is more like a marketing term, but gets people to go, biohacking, what's that? And so it's a way to get faster, safer results in a healthy way.
Okay, so it's a lot of alternative and just natural medicine and being proactive to look at your health and wellness.
Yeah, I think so. I think as opposed to the medical thing, we're finding so many things. Chiropractic used to be kind of poo-pooed and we were called names and different things because we were talking about life energy. You can't really see it, so people didn't really understand it. But now the technology has been able to measure these energetic areas and fields and frequencies and so forth, and actually show, just for example, like with brain tap, we can do a brain tap session that uses light and sound energy frequencies and directly measure the impacts of that. We can look to see whether it be dark field microscopy or, like I said, brain tap and different brainwave energies in the body. And we can see the almost immediate results. Well, we can see the immediate results from those treatments and from those therapies. So the whole world has changed, whereas now I think it's the cutting edge. The last few years, we've seen what the medical model does and how they want to vaccinate and the catastrophe that has created, and really where the motivation for the drugs and vaccines and the whole pharmaceutical industry. So I think people are waking up out of the trance to go, wait a minute, that might not be the best way. What can I do naturally? And so there are methods and techniques as well as lifestyle choices. They say 90% of healthcare costs come from poor lifestyle choices. So it's a matter, this is a contact sport for people. You've got to get involved. No longer is it where you can just abuse your body, get sick, go to the doctor and think that they're going to fix you. So many people have this fix me mentality, and it's really help me heal mentality. But their bodies do it. They have to do it because you can give all the vitamins, you can give all the technologies, but that can't overcome someone eating a poor diet. It can't overcome someone not exercising. So the whole mentality, and that's where I think the biohacking is like, what can I do to help myself? And that's what we're looking at here.
I just wanted to interrupt you for a moment. You talked a little bit about brain tap, and I'm not sure our audience understands exactly what that is. Could you go into that a little bit more
Yeah,
detail? I understand
yeah,
you are a specialist in that area too, so
yeah.
we would love to hear
This is
more
a
about brain tap.
this is the Brain Tap headset. I think it's a pretty good look, if you ask me. But I wouldn't drive with it. But Brain Tap uses light and sound into the eyes and the ears. So we can see, we can use that just like if you're looking in a fireplace behind me here. Our eyes, we kind of mesmerize to the light frequencies, and it has binaural beats, isochronic tones, solfeggio frequencies, guided imagery, and music, because we know that music and sound affects our whole body. So these are the types of energy waves that can be used or are used with BrainTap. Dr. Patrick Porter created and developed this technology. There's over 2,000 programs. So anything from anxiety, which is a huge issue, sleep, which is a huge issue, digestion, brain fitness. There are studies now with BrainTap that after 6 weeks, people who are on the dementia scale can be taken off that using the BrainTap technology. I do it every day because a lot of people know about physical fitness, but what do we do about brain fitness? And now we're seeing more and more, we're seeing mental health issues more of a conversation. We're seeing dementia, Alzheimer's, and cognitive function. We're seeing anxiety and depression. And we're seeing ADD and ADHD issues with the kids. All this comes back to the brain. And so this is actually a technology where the science and the studies are continually being done and being shown to, when you improve the brain fitness, you improve the health. When the brain is balanced, the body's balanced. When the brain is not balanced, the body's not balanced. So again, you can do everything that you want to, but I think this brain tap is what's considered a cutting edge biohack technology that creates tremendous change. And I have technology in my office where we can see one session can make a tremendous improvement in brain function and how the nervous system is coping and managing stress. So I can't get rid of your stress, but I can help you to cope and deal with the stress.
So just so I'm clear and our viewers, so if we have a family member with dementia, no guarantees, but you have seen promising results with your biohacking, including brain tap, as far as reversing the dementia, because that sounds incredible to me. Did you
Yes,
elaborate on a little bit?
yeah, Patrick Porter, again, is continually doing research with BrainTap. And I was just at a conference with him, and a conference showing that on 6 weeks, they had people with dementias. Obviously, everybody's different and what the contributing factors are. But studies show that people can be taken off of the dementia scale just using BrainTap. Now, I use a holistic approach, including detoxification, including nutrition for the brain, because so many people, our American diet is poisoning us, is killing us. So we also look at these different things. And so again, this type of approach to get these kind of results probably falls into the realm of biohacking because it's affecting the internal environment of our bodies. So, and brain waves. So there's brain fitness. The different brain waves are beta, are the high alert, high stress, alpha or relaxation, theta are light sleep meditation, and delta are the sleep waves. So, for example, a lot of people have trouble sleeping because their brain gets stuck in this fight or flight survival mode. And it's like the fire alarm. I use the analogy, our brain is about survival. If all of a sudden the fire alarm goes on, we run outside because the brain wants us to survive. Then we find out it's a false fire alarm. We come in, now the brain says, okay, you can relax, you can calm down, heart rate, breathing, muscle tension. Problem is, people's brains cannot tell the difference between a real fire alarm, a false fire alarm, financial stress, family stress, work stress, daily stress, media stress, stress. So it's all about being able to make the brain neuroplastic, which means that it can change from when you need to be alert, you can be alert. When you need to relax, you can relax. When you need to sleep, you can sleep. And so it's all about allowing the brain to be in balance and having the appropriate response for the situation.
Okay, that's very helpful. Can you discuss any risks or limitations of these new techniques, these biohacking techniques that are out, and brain tap being one of them, but only one of them? And could you please, at
Right.
the same, mention any other unique techniques that you've learned or that you offer? Because I know you just recently came back from a very powerful conference.
Yes, I was at the conference with Dr. John Brimhall, Doug Grant from Optimal Health Systems, Patrick Porter, Dr. Mark Harris. And I've been working with Dr. Brimhall for 25 years, and he's been on the cutting edge of health information, talking about different stressors. For example, we've been talking about electromagnetic radiation and the dangers of that. And what do? We can't get rid of that in our environment that we're living in. So there's, again, technologies of different things to be able to work with. I have a, wristband here that works with natural frequencies. Let me grab it out of my pocket here, but I have a multipolar magnet that helps as far as, here we go, that helps as far as electromagnetic radiation. On my phone, I have, protection. So all this, like, for example, 5G that's coming out is, I think, devastating. I did a TV show with Bobby Kennedy, and he was saying that he thinks it could be the apocalypse because of how it affects our electromagnetic systems in our body and how those are functioning. So the cutting edge. But as far as dangers, these are all the techniques that I work with are all natural. They're natural, concentrated whole food vitamins. So it's like you can't eat too many apples. You can't eat too many carrots compared to, say, synthetic vitamins. And a lot of these vitamin companies now have been bought up by these corporations. Pfizer does Centrum and Emergency. You see Bayer does, different ones. I forget the product exactly, but all these pharmaceutical companies have been buying up these nutritional companies and are using their synthetic methods, and you can't fool Mother Nature, right? So again, there's a big difference just in nutrition. You got to have concentrated whole foods because, like I said, you can't fool Mother Nature. Cold laser is another technology that I work with using light, which has been around, I think, for 40 or 50 years from a therapeutic standpoint as far as being used. No side effects to that. The chiropractic adjustments that I'm working with, I use an instrument. It's like here in the room, if I want to turn the lights on, if I want to get the energy going in the room and bring up our energy, all I need to do is flick a switch. I don't need a hammer to turn the switch on. So the adjustments that I use are a very light touching, and it's like turning a switch. I become like an electrician for the body. Again, no side effects. Whereas, before, people were concerned about, I'm going to say, the popping and cracking type of things. And even that was, I think you had more of a chance of getting stung by a bee and eaten by a shark as opposed to, being hurt with chiropractic adjustments. But now the technology, we realize, is a lot more subtler, although subtle can be very powerful and have a big impact. Side effects, as far as brain tap, the only one would be if people are very sensitive to light. You wouldn't have to use the visor. You can still get the benefits from the programs, but also that's an indication that maybe the brain is out of balance, and eventually the brain can deal with that type of stress. Detoxification has been around for thousands and thousands of years. Proper ways to do it: I use a far infrared sauna. I use an ion cleansing foot bath. A lot of people say, for example, the foot bath, don't know what that is. They think, oh, hocus pocus and everything. Well, there's technology to back it up, and now we can prove and show. So as far as side effects, I wouldn't be doing this if there were side effects going on. And just as an example, my malpractice insurance It's about $1,200 a year, which is, just shows how the insurance industry looks at us and has tallied and calculated what the risks are. So really basically no risks with these proven technologies going on.
Doctor, that's great information, but I would like you to elaborate a little bit more about those ion baths. One reason is because I saw it on the Discovery Channel, a program about that, and they were touting it. So could you talk a
Yeah.
little bit about what that is and why people are talking about that?
Well, it's real simple if you think about it. If two things, energy and water, pretty common. And, our bodies are made up of 70 to 80%, some people say more or less, 70, 80% of water. All of the toxins are either acidic or alkaline, positively charged or negatively charged. And so what this foot bath does is it creates an electromagnetic current, a microcurrent, and acts like a magnet. And it goes through cycles like a magnet, positive and negative, to pull out the different toxins in the body. Now, the water will change. It's amazing to do. I've been doing it for 22 years or so. And, the water will change and look like a sludge. You start off with a clear bucket of water, a half hour later, it's like a bucket of sludge. And the water will change because of things that are in the water already. But the information and it's the science is proven of the toxins that are pulled out of the body, as well as it also balances out the body, and especially this sympathetic and parasympathetic, the sympathetic being the fight or flight, the parasympathetic being rest and digest and recover and recuperate, rejuvenate, sleep, detox, and so forth. So it balances out the seesaw and supports that parasympathetic system to allow the detox and different systems to function properly. So again, no side effects.
Okay, great answer. So here's a good one for you. Are there any biohacks or lifestyle modifications that can alleviate a common gut related issue, such as IBS or leaky gut syndrome? And how do the interventions work?
Yeah, great question. So in the chapter of the book that I wrote in, The Happy Brain that you mentioned, my chapter was the art of balance. And so we look at the major stressors that basic chiropractic has been physical structural stress, mental and emotional stress, biochemical and nutritional stress. Dr. John Brimhall has expanded that because our world's become much more stressful, where the sides of the triangle are electromagnetic radiation and toxins and infections and allergies. So those are the major types of stressors that we're dealing with. Now, what I talk about in my book is another triangle of the major highways. We've spoken about the sympathetic, parasympathetic, fight or flight and survival. We've got to balance that, support the vagus nerve to come back into balance there. The other highway is the HPA axis, which is the hypothalamus, pituitary, or the neurotransmitters, or the chemicals of the brain. And then A represents the adrenal glands, which also drives the sympathetic, which ties into the hormones or the endocrine. So you have the adrenals and the thyroid, ovary, uterus, prostate, testes, pancreas, pituitary. Those are all the hormonal system. When they're stressed in the body, it affects the mind. When they're stressed in the mind, it affects the body. And then the other major connection is the gut-brain connection. More serotonin produced in the gut than in the brain. More nerve cells in the gut than in the spinal cord. So the gut, in order to work to get a healthy brain, you have to have a healthy gut. And so these terms of irritable bowel and Crohn's and leaky gut and so forth are all labels that they put on as to what's causing, or as to what the problem is. But why is that problem? Number one, you look at our food, the foods and the toxins in our foods. You look at the stress in the brain, the imbalance of the brain of what's going on. So again, I use a holistic approach, and especially from an emotional release. You can work with all the probiotics, you can take the vitamins, you can work with the gut, but like the emotional term, like I get a gut feeling, I get sick to my stomach. I use a technique that's called neuroemotional technique, acupuncture, meridian points, and the emotions associated with those, and kind of, again, like an electrician resetting the circuits. So you can do all these things, and I have just found that emotional, neurological stress in the body has to be dealt with and has so much impact as to how our bodies are functioning and the dysfunctions. So this is not talk therapy, which is about 5% using the neocortex. This is accessing the subconscious limbic system, the hippocampus, and so forth, that is there, that is functioning. And it's not about asking questions of, okay, tell me what happened when you were a kid. This is using muscle testing to find out what is happening. So again, I think there's not a silver bullet, even though a lot of people want to find it. But I have found over 40 years of doing this is that there's a holistic approach. You have to look at the emotions. You have to look at nutrition. You have to look at brain balance. You have to look at lifestyles. You have to look at exercise. You have to look at what we're eating. Even as many, whatever vitamins you take cannot overcome a poor diet. So sugar is just the food of the devil. You've got to look to see what's going on from that standpoint and what's happening.
Okay, that's getting good information for the rest of us. So I wanted to talk a little bit about your 3-day challenge coming up. Can you talk a little bit about your 3-day challenge and make your offer to everybody? Although this is an educational program, you're wanting to offer something special to all the viewers, and that's great.
Yeah, and I'm offering it for free. So this is a free
Okay.
challenge. I'm excited because I'm on a mission. I'm on a purpose. Especially the last few years, we've seen what has been promoted for health, to wear a mask, wash your hands, and stay 6 feet apart. Never spoke about health. So I'm excited because what I've put together is the 39 years, 40 years of work I've been doing this into 7 modules. 1 is mindset. 2 is daily activities. 3 is bringing the body back to balance. 4 is brain health, brain fitness. 5 is nutrition. 6 is exercise, and 7 is detoxification. So I've taken all the work that I've put and I'm putting into this free 3-day challenge. September 19th is a Tuesday night, 6:00 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And it'll be for 3 days, about an hour and a half. We'll have a little Q&A, but we'll look at these 7 areas, how you can apply it and implement it. And I assure you that just in this, you're going to find things that you can do that can make changes immediately. But realize also it's like the ship leaving the harbor. If you look at just 1 degree difference coming out of that harbor, by the time you get across the Atlantic or the Pacific Ocean, it's very different from what you might have originally started. So this is a 3-day challenge, a 3-day challenge. And if people are listening to this after, they can still sign up because I do these challenges on a regular basis just because I feel that it's part of my mission, part of my obligation to help and empower people to start taking responsibility for their own health and doing the things that they can do. When they improve their health, you improve the quality of your life. So very excited about this.
Okay, thank you. And again, if this is after September 19th, 20th, or 23rd, still go to his website because he has continual 3-day classes that he'd like to offer to you. Can you tell him a little bit more about this class? Is each class 3 hours, 1 hour? How's that work?
No, for the 3 days, it'll be about an hour and a half that I'll be working with. And we'll be, looking at mindset and different things. We'll be looking at, maybe more of the biohack aspects that you're looking at and brain health and some of the technologies are available. And then the last day is going to be getting back to the basic nutrition, exercise, and detoxification. And I think with a little different twist from what, a lot of people think is what's going on and what those are about. So again, I think there might be some gems. I know there are some gems in there that people will be able to take away for themselves as far as what they can do to improve the quality of their life.
Thank you so much. We did have somebody email us during your last interview that we had, and it's a little bit off topic, but still important. They wrote in and said, could you please ask Dr. Lankering about dizziness, that they get dizzy a lot, and they understood there was some kind of treatments for that. Can you talk about that at all?
Sure. It's and again, it can, any situation, if we're just looking at the symptoms, say dizziness, and so they say, oh, for dizziness, medically, you might say, oh, take this, do that. Again, I look at what's the cause. And again, there could be a combination. And so with muscle testing situations, again, just think of it, right? Dizziness is we're not in balance. So we've got to figure out a way to bring the body back to balance. So sometimes it might be something going on in the ear or dysfunctions going on and nerve dysfunction in the ear. A lot of times with dizziness, we find the eyes because the eyes help us to orientate the horizontal and vertical. So we look at converging and diverging. We look at eye movement side to side and around and ocular lock and different things going on. We look at the emotional component, right? We look to see what's happening. Sometimes if there's dizziness from changing position, say from laying down to standing or from sitting to standing, people get a little dizzy with that. That's often adrenal functions of what's happening. So these are sometimes brainstem, sometimes cerebellum, right? As far as our posture, and even stress that might overload the cerebellum causes dysfunction. So while it may not be a simple or easy solution, it's a lot more simpler and easier than a lot of people might think. And again, I always encourage people to get as much information. So if I find something that I think needs to be evaluated from a neurologist or MRIs or CAT scans or, different things, I don't hesitate to say, hey, let's get as much information as we can so we have all the information, rule out certain programs or address certain issues, and then find out how we can help this person the best. And I'll just add to that too, one other thing, especially like with chiropractic, like I say, if people like are standing and all of a sudden they tilt their head and they get dizzy, well, we've got a pretty good idea that there's something going on in the neck, usually the upper two vertebra, that could be causing nerve irritation, or even the brainstem that could be affecting that. So again, the chiropractic adjustments are very powerful, which works in concert with all these different modalities.
Thank you. Viewers, we're here today to learn about a proactive approach to health and wellness. And we want to thank our doctor, Dr. Lankering, our esteemed doctor, for helping everybody in learning more about a proactive approach to health and wellness. Now, doctor, if somebody has a question for you specifically, are they able to go to your website and push a ask me or contact us and ask you any questions?
Yes, and at Lankering Chiropractic, Lankering, like you have a hankering for Lankering,
Yes, we've
Lankering
got that on the
Chiropractic,
screen.
right? Got that right? .com, and so it says like request an appointment. Well, you can put a message in there. My office number is 970-927-9900. My email address is dradjust, DRADJUST at Sopris, SOPRIS.net. So those are three ways: my website, my phone
Great.
number, or my email address. People give me a call. And I'm also on Facebook, Tom Lankering on Facebook. And so you can also find me there.
I want to encourage all of our viewers, because I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but the episode will be broadcast in over 100 countries worldwide on Phoenix TV. But we would like to also ask you to share it on your social media platforms to get the word out, to provide a paradigm shift from sick care to well care. So, doctor, would you like to say anything else?
Well, I just think that
Can you
there's
think of
hope,
something?
Yeah, I think that there's hope out there for people. A lot of people have these health conditions and think that they're just sentenced with this for the rest of their life. And they think they have these brain issues or these different conditions. And there is help. And when you balance the brain, the body is still the most amazing mechanism that we're aware of, and what it can do as far as healing. So I'm on a mission, and my colleagues and so forth all want to do what we can do to help. And when we help to bioenergetics is life energy. So when we can raise your life frequency and your life energy, you're better, your family is healthier, and the whole planet benefits from you being healthier with a higher frequency. So yes, and you just have to find, and this is maybe an area, if I don't have the answers, if I can't help you, I'll try to find someone who can help you.
Thank you so much for your expertise. Well, thank you for coming, and we will see you again next time. Thank you. We're at the end of another enlightening episode of the World Wellness Show, and we want to be reminded of the incredible insights shared by our esteemed doctor. Their passion for health and wellness have provided us with valuable knowledge to enhance our well-being. We offer educational information and suggest strongly that you seek medical attention through your physician or other medical professional. Until next time, thank you for coming.